All right. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another real estate wholesale analysis. My name is Elton. Thank you guys for joining. I apologize for the delay. We just had to deal with some difficulties on our technical side, but I think everything should be running perfectly fine now. Um, so welcome to another episode. I think this is episode 23 to real estate wholesale analysis. If you're starting like in terms of like real estate and real estate wholesaling, and you're trying to understand how to analyze properties, we definitely walk through a lot of steps over here on how to do the analysis in terms of like the fix and flip side and the rental side. So we are going to do some live examples as well too. If you do happen to have like a property that you want us to get, if you want me to get analyzed, then by all means drop it in the chat. And then we'll use that address so that we can analyze it and get an understanding of what's the situation, the motivation, and see what's the best offer that can be brought into the table with the seller. But a little background about me. My name is Elton. I've been wholesaling for the last 10 months. So I started virtually wholesaling, and that basically means wholesaling outside of my state. It is definitely possible to do that out of state as well too, so you don't have to stick to like your own market. It always, honestly, in my opinion, works the best to do virtual wholesaling because you don't have to be present to do like a lot of the things, and so you can definitely work with local people with it, and also gives you that you are definitely an investor out of state, so you can't really check out the property at all times. So there's a lot of pros, and there's definitely going to be some cons as well too. It's just part of the game of real estate. But a little before that, I have experience. I have 10 years of experience, a decade of experience in terms of like sales and marketing. So whenever it comes to like calling people, calling sellers, calling agents, calling buyers, it's really easy to have like a conversation. Everything is about building relationships. So, and also it is a business as well too. So with that being like a huge fact, you just have to treat it as a business as well too. And additionally, from there, just always try to build a relationships as much as possible, because relationships will last long, and then the longer relationship you have, it's always going to work best in your favor. So with that being said, again, I don't want to spend too much time on me. I just want to get started with the wholesaling analysis. Let's jump right into it. So first things first, there's going to be a few steps when it comes to like real estate wholesaling. These are the major steps. Whenever we're looking at the major steps, there are going to be little steps inside of each single of the major steps. And a part of that is just how the game's going to be. So definitely be cautious of that. Try to learn as much as possible, educate yourself, understand like the language, but also most important is taking action. No matter how scared you are in jumping into it, we're all going to be making errors. We all make errors at one point, and it's part of the learning process. If you're not failing, if you're not failing at all whatsoever, with every failure, it's a stepstone to make yourself better. But again, you won't be perfect. It's just always about making yourself better. But taking action, definitely, it is going to be a big step that a lot of people do get scared to making those steps, because they're scared of, what if I get the property in the contract? What if this? What if that? What if this? What is that? And then honestly, if you're thinking that mindset, that's not a positive mindset. It's having the mindset of just doing it and then learning from the mistakes, or learning from that experience, that is going to help you better yourself for the next opportunity. One of the major steps, well, again, we are going to be focusing, it's the analysis part. So we are going to be focusing a lot of the estimates and repairs and the offers understanding, and how to analyze and find some key factors into analyzing like a property. Again, both on the fix and flip and on the rental side as well too. With those steps, the very first factor that we have to understand about real estate wholesaling, it's ARV, and just real estate overall as well too. It's understanding that what the after repair value will be of a property if a property happens to need any type of repairs as well too. This key factor definitely helps out understanding if you're buying the property at a great discount, A lot of investors have what they're called like their 70% rule. Some of them like to, in different market areas, it's going to be a little bit higher, 75, 78, 8, even close to like 80% as well too. So it's all about understanding how your buyers do like their numbers. With the examples listed over here, investor one and two, these are going to be the two most common type of investors that you're going to come across. And of course, occasionally because of different states, different cities, different areas, the materials, the labor is going to be more expensive, then the numbers are going to be shifting a little bit from there. So that's why we have an example of investor number three, where the numbers are going to be very, very different than anybody else, just because, again, the markets are very different in some cities, where, again, it's going to be coming down to like the expenses that are going to come along. When we have to look for the ARV, we do have to find some comparables, which we'll touch based on that, because, again, you're trying to find what the property will be worth after it gets fully updated. And the way we get that is finding comparables. And if there's no comparables, it's not a deal. But if you're able to get like a huge discount, you can make it happen. But also now there's going to be a huge risk on the property. So that's something that you definitely have to consider whenever you're analyzing some properties. But again, we'll walk through that because we definitely come across a variety of examples when analyzing some properties. So the next factor that we have to understand is repairs, because, again, after repair value is the number one, is the first factor. Repair costs, these are going to be average repair costs throughout the nation. These are not going to be city specific or down to the dollar specific of what it takes to rebuild specific updates into like the property. So it's going to be very, very different, but I don't like to spend a lot of time when analyzing repairs. I don't want to get down to like the exact dollar, because the most common thing that happens in real estate is the unexpected is always going to be happening, which is basically I like to call it Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law is anything that can happen will. And so anything can truly happen whenever anything beyond the estimated repairs can definitely happen in any given stake or any given opportunity or property. But it's just how it is in part of the game. But again, I don't like to do a lot of time on it, because if I do my estimates on repairs and I happen to find a $1,200 property that it needs $45,000 in repairs, both on the living space and the basement, because there are going to be some properties that have basements throughout the nation. And then if I have those estimates to be around $45,000, if I bring it to investor number one, they're going to tell me that, oh, this property needs around $75,000 in repairs. I bring it over to investor two. Oh, this needs around $60,000 in repairs. I bring it over to investor number three. Oh, I can get away with this with $35,000 worth of repairs. So you could get a variety of different answers. Sometimes it's going to be a tactic of negotiating, just so that way they're able to get a lower price as well too. It's just how a lot of investors like to do it. It's just part of being greedy, but at the same time playing it safe. But the biggest factor that's going to help them make sure that the property is the best value is going to come down to how the area is. If it's going to be a great area, there's a lot of schools. It's just there's a lot of activity happening in that area as well too, from other investors. Additionally, it's just going to be the risk. Again, the risk is going to be a lot lower. So again, it depends like on the area and how many great comps, not great comps, how many good comps you're able to find, where, again, there's other activity happening in there. So sometimes you can even do reverse or wholesaling, which is a different strategy that I would definitely recommend for you to like learn a little bit about. But it's just, again, there's going to be a few key things that can definitely help you out, take advantage of it. But for the repairs, stick to the average repairs. Light repairs are just going to be pretty simple. Properties that is being rented. It's been updated in the past, but it just needs a quick paint or update or carpet update, or sometimes it's going to need little fixes to be done like inside of the property. So it's just going to be very light stuff as well too. When we're looking at average repairs is going to take a little bit more work, or what fix and flippers like to do is they like to do a little bit more updates on the home, where you could start getting into like big projects like the kitchen, the excuse me, the bathroom. Sometimes it could be like the outside, maybe the siding, maybe the roof as well too. Windows, paints, maybe some flooring where again you have to keep it very very symmetrical in terms of like you have the same type of flooring throughout the home, or you're just making some little touches to make it very unique in certain areas, but it's going to be pretty much the same throughout the entire home, so that way you're bringing some type of uniqueness into it. The last one is going to be the gut job repairs. The gut job repairs are going to take a lot more of work to be done into it. Some of it is definitely going to, a lot of it's going to include foundation and then the main projects, kitchen, bathroom. But a lot of it, when we're looking at gut job repairs, is basically kind of you have to tear down everything, bring it down to like the studs or to just to like the wood pillars or the wood frame of the home. You're definitely stripping down everything and then you're starting all over again inside the home, because you're definitely going to come across sections where the ceiling might be falling. There's mold in the walls. There's leakage. There's cracks. There's this. There's that. So again, usually with average and gutter repairs, these are the projects that will come in where there's going to be unexpected expenses that are going to be coming along. But again, and that's what a lot of investors like to play. They like to play it safe because, again, from their experience and from my experience as well too, it comes down to always expecting the unexpected, because it's definitely going to happen every so often. So going back to the ARV, we need to find the ARV. We need to understand how much the repairs is going to need, and then the full foundation of it can be done if you have any comps. But whenever we're looking at comps, part of it is you do have to find certain parameters on these comps as well too. So with the parameters are basically restrictions or things, a list of parameters that you have to like restrict yourself from, to make sure that whenever you're analyzing or looking for similar homes, you're finding something that it's locally, also comparing apples to apples, and of course make sure that you're able to find at least three of them. But first things first, it could be like the living space. If you're looking at a 1,500 square foot home, it's going to be plus or minus 300. Is if 15, 2,000, 3,000 square foot home, it's always going to be plus or minus 300. Lot size, this is going to be more on the farm style homes where you're comparing acres and acres of land. So a quarter of an acre, half an acre, 1 acre, 10, 20, 30, however many acres you're comparing. And then this is when you have to start implementing square footage. If you're like in major cities or in urban cities, then by all means, that's where the square footage of the lot won't be a huge factor. But sometimes you might come across properties that have a land right next to it, or the seller is also selling the land right next to it. So that's something else that you do have to consider and estimate from there. Because sometimes I've come across where there's one property being sold, but it's a double lot, one lot being used for the home, and the other lot is completely vacant. So they're just trying to analyze it based on how much the lots are selling for locally as well too. Radius wise, you want to stick to a half mile to a 1 mile radius whenever you're looking for these comps. But part of this radius is make sure that you're not crossing major roads or double yellow line roads. What a double yellow line road looks like is going to be a high traffic road where there's commuters in the morning and the evening. There's going to be buses, UPS, Amazon, semi trucks, construction happening. So there's this constant flow of traffic happening throughout the entire day, where that double yellow line road is going to be your border, where you can't compare anything beyond that, because again, where these parameters are based on an appraiser. So an appraiser is going to be looking for these comps, but again, they're going to be sticking within the certain restrictions, and this is what these restrictions are. And this double yellow line road, which we'll use some live examples so that we guys can see how it's going to be set up, it's again, that's going to be like our border, where an appraiser, no matter how similar it is, if it's apples to apples, the appraiser won't compare the home on one side of the road to the other side, because again, they're considering that to be two different neighborhoods, and that the double yellow line road is going to be that border that's going to be splitting up those neighborhoods. Of course, we have to find at least 3 comps or 3 to 5 comps. The more you find, the better the deals you're gonna have. For these, I like to go with recently sold in the last 6 to 9 months. I like to look for also properties that are pending and also properties that are currently being listed. So that way I can get an understanding on what kind of updates that were done. Because again, those are comps that you're able to pull of what happened past, what's happening right now, and what's still like on the market, and then seeing what's the potential for it to like be selling as well too. And of course, make sure again stick to apples, where you're comparing a 1970s home to a 1970 to like 80s home. You don't compare a 2024 brand new built home to a 1970s. That's not apples to apples whatsoever. All right. If you have any questions or anything along the way, by all means, drop it in the chat. But at the moment, there's I will definitely leave it open for some Q&A afterwards. But right now, let's hop on to doing some live examples, which let me put in the pull up the websites. Where they go? Right here. Where does Zoom go? Where does Zoom go? All right, let's pull this up. Desktop one, cool. Let me move this out of the way. All right, cool. So part of the process I like to use is definitely the calculators. I did design some calculators along the way of my learning process. There's a discount still happening right now from now to the end of the month, where you can get the calculators completely 50% off right now. It's where you're gonna get calculators that are for fix and flippers, for rental, and also for the seller financing, which is another great strategy as well too. But uh, the calculators I designed have helped me understand where the buyer's standing, where the end buyer is going to be standing in terms of like bringing an offer in, where the seller is standing in terms of like how wide they are asking for that price as well too, and also understanding like the repairs. So part of the calculators which we are going to be using today is could be the ARV calculator. And again, we are going to be using the other one is the complete rental one to analyze a rental properties as well too. So I'm gonna show you guys examples of this. If you guys want to get the calculators, get them and use the coupon so that we can get them 50% off. If you want to get individually or if you want to get the Pro Bundle is the one that includes the seller finance one. But for right now, we're gonna use the complete rent, the ARV one, where we're going to put in some basic information, asking price, if there's an asking price. If there's no asking price because you're reaching out to sellers directly, what I'd like to do is use Zillow and also PropWire or just any other resource that will at least tell me what the property's estimate value is. And Zillow does this through a lot of their homes, which it's called their estimate. Sometimes whenever you find properties that are sold by owners without any agent representation, as well too, they go through Zillow. Zillow is like the #1 source, and they're like, oh, Zillow said my property is worth this much, so I listed it for that much. All right, cool. But does Zillow show you like what is actually happening like with other properties that are getting fully updated, and how much are those fully updated properties are selling for? So Zillow will tell you let's pull up this one. Also, PropWire is a free real estate data platform, so you don't really have to subscribe, but also gives you like the estimated value. So this property is selling for 290, but then PropWire is still seeing it at 194. Again, both of them, you just have to do your due diligence to find out what's actually happening in the area and how much those are going for. Redfin, not so much. For some reason, they stopped doing it. They used to do it in the beginning. But ever since then, they did like so many updates that they took it away. It used to say like right over here as well too, like the Redfin estimate or Redstimate, something like that. But again, it's just how they've changed a lot of the things as well too. But if you don't have a price, then that's how we're gonna put it in. Of course, we're gonna put in the living space, debt, if there's a mortgage, liens, if you happen to come across some liens like on the property. So we're gonna walk through the entire steps of repairs, ARV, and then also understanding where buyers are. So we're gonna walk through all this together. But let's select the market. Like I said, unless you have an address, by all means, drop the address. But let's go here. So let's select a random city with the spin the wheel. See where we at. So it looks like we have Greenville, South Carolina. Actually just did Greenville, South Carolina last week on one of the previous live Zooms. So I'll always try to look for something different. Same thing with Rapid City, South Dakota. We found there was no activity in South Dakota. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, I actually like this one. I haven't done Chattanooga in Tennessee. Chattanooga. Let's put it across. Let's put it all over. Okay, it's Chattanooga, Tennessee homes. And I'm gonna go through specific filters that I like to use when looking for properties that are great potential for fix and flipping. And if for those who think that there's no deals on the MLS, you are mistaken because that's the way I started and that's the way I've been doing a lot of deals. I'm an MLS. Again, it's all about building relationships, just work the relationships with agents. Again, bring value, let them know how you're able to help them out. There's a few key things that you can say that can definitely help them out. And that's how they get to bring you off-market properties. So my filters that I like to use are I'm gonna use a single family home, so we're gonna use houses. I'm gonna look for properties stale, 45 days stale, and I like properties that are at least 1,000 square feet. I like to exclude 55 plus communities, and I also like to exclude new construction homes. Bam, there we go. So we got a good amount of homes. I know I'm heading a little bit more south into out of Tennessee, but let's check it out. Let's see what we have going on. With Zillow, Zillow has more opportunities, but the only thing that I don't like about Zillow is the time frame. So how I selected 45 days or more on Redfin. Zillow just makes you select how many days, but it does 6 months or less. So it doesn't do 90 days or more. It just says it's within the 90 days. So it could be a few hours old to full 90 days old. And I really don't like that. So that's why I prefer Redfin in terms of like looking for some properties as well too. But both of them are really cool and are really handy. So from here, let's just start looking for some properties that need some type of fixing. And what I like to do too, if I'm looking at a new market, is go through the market insights. So that way I can see what the average price of a home is. And get like a roughly, because again, I like to set certain filters where stick within that price range. So I'm not looking for $10 million homes. So I'm gonna be sticking to that 350 mark. So I have a good uh, 48 homes. So let's go through some of these and let's see what we're able to find. I'm going through like the pictures just so I can get like a sense of them. Looks like a lot of these is updated. This is a little good one that it could be a good just quick updates on it. Maybe like the color scheme in the outside. That definitely has to get changed. I don't know who will do that color. That's the only green home in the street. And again, this is what I like to do is check the street. This is a double yellow line road. I don't know how busy this road is. The way I like to always check on it is finding out how many cars on the road. If it's five or more, then that's how we're gonna be finding out it's definitely going to be a high traffic road, but also understand like what other roads are connected to it. So far I only have one over there, and I think I saw just one more. There's two over here. So it looks like that's like a main road over there. So this is where we have to like kind of like scout like the area and get like a sense. So it looks like this one, Wilder Street, is one of those main roads. From here, again, I'm gonna use this little guy so I can double check on that. So it's kind of like a mountain. So I think it's just like a passing road. Let me check it out. It's kind of like wavy in terms of like the road, how it's set up. Why is it going like that? Um, okay, not a lot of traffic. All right, cool. So it looks like I can definitely get away with that. Definitely Campbell and Glass Street is going to be like one of the main ones, and then there's train tracks. So I'm kind of like this area is gonna be where I gotta look for my comps from here. So that's the only thing. So it looks like Crutchfield Street is gonna be like my last resort on finding them. But this could be a great example. This honestly is a great light repairs where we have to definitely update like the util well, I don't know if this is new, if these are actually like brand new pictures. Um but honestly, we'll do like little touches in terms of like painting. The floor is great conditioning. Definitely maybe even do like the bathroom as well too. So spend money on the bathroom, bathrooms. Flooring is good, and then you definitely have to do like the painting. So it's gonna be very light repairs on this one. So let's use this one and then see what a kind of information we're able to get from it. And there are that subject property is right over here. Again, part of the process is going through what's sold in the past, what's currently pending, and what's actually active at the moment. So my area, like I was mentioning, is this area right over here. So we do have this 240. Again, we want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. So our square footage is 1,000, so plus 300. It looks like we have this one. It's a 4-2. Our home is 3-2, so it has to get like an extra bedroom added to it. But let's check out the inside. Great kitchen, a great kitchen. Again, the outside is definitely not green. Looks like it has a huge backyard, flooring. All right, cool. Painting, lighting, a lot of pictures in one spot. Bathroom, looks like the bathroom is being left alone, honestly. So not a lot of work in there, but our bathroom definitely needs some work. And then there's no garage, so it's just I guess parked like on the street type of deal with this property. But does our subject property have? No, it does not. No garage. No garage. No. I didn't see no garage. I was supposed to, why is it giving me pictures? Give me street viewer. No, no garage. It's just park it on the street or there's a little drive up from it. But let's see here. So we have that one. Let's check out this one. This one is 1288. Okay. This one is a 32.5. So this is very similar to our home because again, that's the thing. If you find something that it's you have a 3-2 subject property, but then you come across a 4-2, it's gonna take to match it up so that way it brings the extra value to it. Is that extra room has to be added to it because again, you want to compare apples to apples. You want to update it. So this is an incomplete updated home. So it looks like they have to do like the lighting, flooring, painting is good. The kitchen, they're not showing kitchen. Uh, one bathroom got updated, but they didn't even show like the kitchen as much, or there is no kitchen. It looks like the kitchen has to be fully put into it. But then this home is being sold for $180,000. So I think if you were to finish it completely, that's where it will come down to like the 240. But again, you have to spend like the kitchen and the electrical. So you'll probably spend a good $20,000, maybe a little bit less, depending on what else you might need to do to it as well. And then just double confirm on make sure that all the permits are properly done on that lighting and everything. So yeah, it can definitely be reselling for that $240,000 price mark. So those are two subject properties that are again on the market. I didn't select anything that is under contract, and it looks like we have one property under contract selling for $200,000. This is at 1276 within our subject property. So again, this one does need some work. This really depends on how much is going to get like under contract. And then we have this one for 160,000. This is 1,000 square feet, so also within our parameters. Okay, so this is also within what our subject property is selling for 158. This is 159. And then there's our main one for 158. So Again, as you guys can see, this is what the other one that needed the full update, the kitchen and the and the electrical to be done to it. It's only $20,000 more because it's mainly done. It's just you have to spend that extra $20,000 to completely get it done to bring it over to that over $200 or 240 price point as well too. But our first type of comps that I definitely want to pull is the ones that are recently sold. So this is where I have to look in the last 6 to 9 months to see how much a lot of the homes were actually selling for, and then put my parameters to it. So 750 all up to like 1300. Again, 750 because our subject property is 1036. So minus 300, plus 300. Um, so we have a good amount of properties. Let's go to the calculator. Let me put all the information. 158, 1036. So 158, 1036. Like I said, for this one, this one doesn't have a basement. Um, and this is the way it's going to be structured up. So again, putting yourself as if you're the buyer, the property selling for 158. You're gonna be paying the closing costs so that we can negotiate like on the price, of course. You're trying to go in the first offer. If you're trying to fix and flip this property, if you're trying to wholesale, it's going to give you the wholesale price, by the way, just so you know. But again, I like to put myself as if I'm the actual end buyer. So my first possible offer will be anything less than $110,000. So that's why I will pay as an incentive, pay the closing costs from it. This property needs light repairs, like we were just talking about. It needs bathroom and also just like the painting uh outside and inside as well too. So again, very light stuff to it. So it's gonna take, again, light repairs are between $10 to $20. I'm gonna play it safe, playing it safe at all times. It's gonna take me $20,000 to repair, 20,720 to be exact. I'm looking for some profit. Again, I'm a fix and flipper, so I want to make sure I get my profit on this deal. Profits on fix and flipping are between 15 to 20%. If you're buying and holding, it's gonna be 10% from it. So again, I'm just gonna play it safe and then just try to go with the lowest. And this property, if I were to bring it updating, it can definitely sell for 223. We kind of already look for it. We look at what the properties are selling for, and we did find out that the property can definitely sell for more than $200,000. So this asking resale price is definitely right on the spot. But again, that's what's currently active, and then what's also pending as well too. But only one of the pendings um, works into it, but the main ones that you want to look for are that are the ones that are actually selling. What's actually selling is what's going to tell you what's actually happening with the neighborhood and the area. So let's look for some properties. So February 14th, just today. Um, this one is 1,200 square feet home. Let's check out the inside. Um, Great condition, great siding, great color. The painting as well too. There's floor, lights, kitchen, bathroom, bathroom. Okay, good bathroom. Again, could be better things on like on the lighting and maybe mirrors as well too. It's just those extra little touches make like a big difference, honestly. One bathroom it's not updated, so like this walk-in shower. That's just yeah, kind of walk-in shower because it's just sliding, you're opening the door and walking in. But that walk-in shower can definitely get updated as well too. Um, so overall, great. This is the most recently sold, and this sold for 190. So it is a 4.2, again, not apples to apples. At 1998, and our subject property is 1930s. So that's something, again, plus or minus 10 years of a difference. You want to check on that as well too. So 1998 comparable to 1930, very, very different. So that's something I'm definitely keeping in mind. Then we have this one sold in December. Great floor, one less bathroom, a little bit bigger in the square footage. That's good though. Great bathroom, good floor, good paint, windows, kitchen. Oh, there's the bathroom. All right, cool. Kitchen. Let's see what else. What else? What else? Oh, that's all the pictures. So this is a good one. Is it close to the 1930s? Yes, it is. So apples to apples, 1938. This sold for $153 per square foot. Yeah. So then from here, that's where I have to put in my ARVs. So 153 per square foot from here. Let's go through the rest. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Oh, this thing is blocking. Come on, come on, come on. What else can we find? December 15th. Oh, if this, oh no, this is like all that extra stuff got added to it. Is this how it looks like or no? I can't really tell. I got a feeling this is more of a, okay, these are the real pictures. So flooring, paint, okay. Kitchen definitely needs some work. Definitely update the appliances. So again, I'm just looking at windows. I'm looking at pretty much everything. I don't know what's going on over here. If that's like mold or a crack, as well too. And then definitely have to paint like the outside of it. But this is already sold. So again, I want to compare apples to apples. So 1930, 1920, plus or minus 10 years of a difference. But I'm definitely gonna use this one just because again, it's in like better conditioning, and this sold for $134 a square foot. So 134, 153, and then I just have to find like one more. Hopefully it's like in a better conditioning. December 8th. Oh, this might be, how far is this? So this one's all the way over here. Again, we did say that Wilder Street is definitely a good road to use. It has like a lot of the waves, so it's not a high traffic road from it. Um, and this could be our dagger. Our dagger to, oh, this is a wonderful home. And this is the kind of examples that you want to be looking for. Like great flooring, uh great updates on a wall, lighting, kitchen, bathroom, the walk-in shower. Look at that walk-in shower as well. The sliding door walk-in shower. Great tile. I don't know about this, but hey, I didn't do that. Um, Sometimes with the windows, are they able to get open or not too? But honestly, this is like a prime example of a great comp. And this sold for 260, 1930s, 220 per square foot. So this is what's probably gonna help out like the property significantly, and this is roughly around 175. Like I said, sometimes you can try to pull in more as well too. Like we have this next one, December 6th, other subject property. You can always able to like switch it off in terms of like the properties. Oh, but this is not updated. Oh no. This needs work. So not that one for sure. So we have this one on Taylor Street and Taylor Street. This one, I think I did use the 1934 one. We have this 1938. Again, this one I was the 190 price point that sold on February 14th that recently sold today. I can't use it because again, it did sell. It is a 1998 home from there. So again, I'm still looking. I'm still looking for some of these. This one, it's a 240, not the actual home, but it's like the project that is being done to it. So it really depends on, are they going to be selling it at as is, or did they sell it as is, or the new construction? Again, I can't pull this new construction 2024. So I gotta stick apples to apples. This one, $119, sold a little bit from there. Let's check out this one. 227 September. September, oh, that's kind of far out, but it's still within our 6 month period. Oh, what's going with this one? Okay, good flooring. Uh, not a lot of pictures. So, paint, kitchen, floors, lighting looks good. Um, Again, probably like a tenant. This is probably getting rented out with just like scratches like on the wall. Bathroom could use an update, but it's still way better conditioning. How much did this sell per square foot? 180. All right, cool. We can probably pull that. pull this one 180. So we can resell this property for $191,000. So that's gonna be my ARV for for my for my ARV. That's going to be basically what I can resell it for. And then now is where I get to understand my investors, my conservative investor and my aggressive investor. I always like to play with my aggressive investor just because I know they're always going to be negotiating from there. But they're willing to pay $113 for my subject property. So based on the ARV, again, that's $113,000, $190,000 on resale value. Again, we know for sure you can get over $200,000, and that's the kind of deals that you want to bring over to your buyers, where there's potential for over $200,000 for this area and for this subject property. But again, right now we're trying to play it safe on what's actually happening with the numbers. So the purchase price is 113, so this is how much they'll purchase your contract for based on my the fix and flip negotiations. My first offer was $110,000. Again, if I was fixing and flipping this property, but again, if you're trying to wholesale, then now that number is going to be changing from it. So 102 is going to be I get my kind of my maximum allowable offer. So you kind of have to start a little bit low, but at least you have like a chance and again be able to negotiate um, to to maybe 105. It's not going to be like a big wholesale fee, but again, it's all about building their relationship with the end buyer because they can easily sell this for $220,000, honestly. And as you can see, they're able to make more money. And you might be wondering, well, why making more money when I could be making more money? Again, real estate is not about making the most money. Real estate is about making the biggest relationships because again, if you bring in an amazing deal, they're gonna want to do business with you because you did your numbers, the safest route. You already did the hard work into it. The next one, that's the one that is gonna be the game changer for you where you can definitely offer more for like your property and get a bigger wholesale fee from it. But again, the first one, it's always about what's going to make you stand out from anybody else who's bringing this investor other properties. Are you going to be greedy and then try to get a crazy wholesale fee, or are you trying to work on the relationship from there? And so even if it was to sell for like $210,000, again, you can still get an amazing wholesale fee, but again, it's about negotiating with the numbers. And then the numbers were telling us that this property can sell for $190,000. And how long has it been on the market for? For like 48 days. So again, it doesn't need a lot of work either, too. So it's a great home. It's just about just like either play the patience game and also sometimes even just check the history of it. Has it been under contract in the past? Has there been any price reductions in the past? Those are key things. And also, how long has it been listed for? Those three things are great key factors whenever you're looking at properties that are great opportunities on the market. And again, these are going to be properties on the market. And you just have to call an agent and let them know, like, hey, I'm interested in this property. I see it's been listed and relisted in the past. I see there's been price drops in the past, and I see it's been sitting here for like a while. I want to help you out. I can close quickly. It'll be a cash offer, but it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be lower than what you guys are asking for. And again, you bring your offer in, or do your due diligence, try to get some information, and then try to bring an offer as well too, and then just try to play the game. Either you come with speed on closing quick, or also you can bring in the incentives or paying the closing fees as well too. So it's literally all about how you strategizing on bringing the offer in. But this property, it hasn't been under contract. There hasn't been any price drops, and it's been sitting for like 45 days, usually around 30 days. Sometimes some properties around 2 weeks already start doing price drops. And again, that's just how it is. But then this property is actually priced just right. But again, it's all about still getting like a deal out of it just because like it is good, still need some updates as well too. So this can be both for a fix and flipper or even for a buy and hold, because some of them that I did notice that I think one of them was like a rental property. So even if it's like a rental property, Again, your investors can definitely buy for a little bit more, but it all depends on how many investors you're bringing your deals over to. Don't just stick to one buyer, and then that's how you're going to be able to again find somebody who can pay more, and then you're able to get a higher commission. But at the same time, think on the back end on what the relationship is going to be like now and in the future for your deals. So that was a fix and flip analysis, and it will break down to you if they were to buy for this much, how much the closing costs will be, and if you want to select how much the profit will be. They're playing it safe. You can let them know, hey, so far based on the numbers, this is a $25,600 profit or more. If we were to adjust this to that $210,000 um, price point, then again, that we're getting now closer to like $30,000 on it. So it all depends if they like a specific percentage, if they like a specific dollar amount, whatever it is, whatever their margins are, you just have to get in a conversation with them. But that's how the calculator is going to do it. Usually, when you're doing this by yourself, it's going to be a lot faster. It just takes practice. For me, it took hundreds and hundreds of properties to get analyzed to get practice on. But I guess the thing is learn some of the basics, but as you're learning, try to take some small actions into the analysis, so that way you can start getting a hang of what depending on your market as well too. If you're doing virtually, if you're doing locally, get a grasp on how that market is that you're looking into. And then the faster you're able to understand, especially with changes, whenever you're talking to sellers, buyers, agents, they're going to mainly agents and buyers, they're going to give you a lot of feedback. So accept that feedback and then try to adjust to like what's actually happening with the market. So again, you're able to understand more about your market, but also at the same time, taking that action is going to help you gain that experience that is going to become crazy, crazy easy, that literally it will take like 2 weeks if we were to like fully grind it out, spend like an hour a day after work trying to like study and try to implement some action. So it's definitely doable, but it's all because we all have the same 24 hours at the end of the day. It's all about who wants it the most, and whoever wants it the most is the one who's going to succeed the most. So hopefully that's able to help you guys in terms of like motivation, but also again understanding on how to get the analysis on the fix and flip side. Now that we've done the fix and flip, is now my favorite part is honestly the rentals. I love doing rental properties. So let's check out and see what we're able to find in terms of like the rentals. Rental properties, there's no budgets, there's no restrictions. There's only one thing I do like to change, and that is make sure that they are multifamily. That's the only thing I'm looking for in terms of rentals. It's multifamily, because multifamily is the only thing I need to find out in terms of like rental. If it's single family, cool, let it be a single family being rented out. But multifamily, it just works better in terms of like cash flowing wise. I mean, both of them, single family does it too, but it just honestly, I like multifamily better when I'm analyzing a lot of these. So multifamily, we're gonna go through the same steps. It's gonna be some little twists here and there. There's different language to multifamily, because multifamily is strictly numbers. The single families, fix and flips, and buy and holds, and anything happen whatsoever in the single family side is definitely going to be more a relationship side, and also it's going to be a speed. But when it comes to multifamily, it's all about doing a thorough due diligence, which we're going to be walking through this right now, and let's see what we're able to find. And when I look for these multifamilies, I look for especially on the ones that are like on the market, I'm looking for properties that are honestly updated. I'm not trying to come in and do a lot of work. I'm looking for things that are already fully update. If there's tenants, cool. How much are those tenants paying? So I'm looking through the descriptions to see if there's any dollars amounts. Um, and then sometimes if I wanted to, I can go do my research on that, but for right now, I'm just gonna be sticking to doing these what's going with this? Why is there floor plans? I'm looking for these properties that are already just out there, fully updated to analyze. Okay, there's no pictures of the inside. Design work, okay, no rentals. I'm looking for rentals. Rental numbers. Where are the numbers? Come on, agents. Okay, so we have both units are currently tenant occupied. Okay, below market rents. I don't know what that means. I have to figure out what below market rent is. and there are th from July and October 2024. No showings without accepted offer. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I don't need to see it. I'm not trying to head over to Chattanooga from California to go check out this property and be like, oh yeah, I like it. I'll invest in it. No, I gotta look down to the numbers. So I like this one just because it's being rented out already. So let me do this. Let me pull in the rentals, and then my rentals is gonna be through Zumper, Zumper average rent in, and then paste your city, state, and zip code, and average rent in Chattanooga. So this property, we have a 2-1, two units that are 2-1. Yes, 2 units, 2-1. All right, cool. So it's gonna be a house. Actually, let's do apartment. So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-1. So it's a 2-bedroom. Apply. Check it out. Whoa, for real? 1,400? $1,500? Nah, that can't be right. Let me check out Zillow rent estimator. Zillow rent estimate. Let me check it out. Let me check it out again. I have to do a thorough due diligence. A thorough due diligence. So if it's 1,500 on Zillow, because it's gonna pull out the entire home, it should be close to like 3,000. No, it's not. So it's gonna be 14. It's probably gonna be 800, 900. So what is it? Yeah, it's gonna be 900 for each side. That's the thing I have to double check because why is this popping an apartment? 2-bedroom, one. Does it let me do a zip code? Oh no, it doesn't. I don't think this is right. Let me check out home. Let me check out the house. What was it? A 4-bedroom? 4-bedroom, 2,400. And this is telling me 20. Okay, so it is roughly right. So I can definitely get it for 1,200. 1,400, I was like, kind of, that's a little bit crazy. So I'm gonna play it safe and go with like $1,200 for the for each side. Um, Let me remove this. So let me start putting some information over here. So what's the asking price? Asking price is 250 on the property. So 250 asking price. Um, there's 2 bedrooms. I'm gonna go with what was it? 1,200? 12, 1,200? 1,200. 1,200, yeah, 1,200 on the rental. And then some percent 24. I'm gonna go with 1,100. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna say 1,100 if it's being under rented. And then the inside of the property, again, the tenant's already in there, so it all depends on where they are. But I don't know if Chattanooga is a non-disclosure. It's a it's a red state where there's no rent control. So that's a kid living in one side. So there's a lot of kids. So it's kind of like a daycare. What's going on? Oh no, it's not. Is this showing like one side of the other units? I don't think it's showing me the other side. It's really hard to tell. But it looks really good, honestly. Besides the paint, and again, this could take some work because this kid got very creative. Got very creative. There's no pictures of the bathrooms. No, no pictures of the bathrooms. Oh well. All right, let's see. So let's go back to the numbers. So this property is selling for 250. My down payment will be 20%. I can do less if I wanted to, but let's just go based on it. Interest rate 7.5, maybe 8%. I'm gonna play it safe right now with 8%. Closing costs, I'm not gonna pay closing costs for the seller on this case. If I want to, then that's why I'm able to get like a way better deal. Closing costs range between 2 to 5%. So I'm gonna go with like 4%. So I need $60,000 to close like on the property. Um, so that's a good low investment so far. Next is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,100 per unit times 2 units. So it's gonna bring me $2,200 in rent every single month. aka $26,400 every single year. My expenses, my expenses can be broken down individually. So I can break it down from taxes, insurance, HOA, maintenance, vacancy, and property management. I don't live in the area, so I definitely need a property management. I can break it down, but I'm gonna play with my 40% rule. 40% rule is the standard rule of expenses if you're having a property manager for you. If you're managing the property yourself, you can bring it down to like 30%. So it really depends on where your investment is for this. But again, I'm gonna stick to my standard 40% rule on this, where my expenses are gonna be 10,500 for the entire year. My net income is going to be like this. It's my $26,000 of gross income minus my expenses. My net is going to be $15,000. But out of the $15,000, I still have to pay the mortgage or what we call debt service. So debt service is going to be $17,000. So this property at 250, it's not cash flowing me nothing whatsoever. So my cash flow is negative. My cash from cash is negative, and then my cap rate, it's really low. It's a 6.34. You can research on how much the cap rate is on that area that you're looking into by simply typing average cap rate in, and then you type in, paste the, you don't have to paste the address, you just paste in the city, the state, and also the zip code. And it's gonna tell you, there's gonna be a few results over here. Um, so still cap rates are high, ranging from 7.5 world-class hotels to 7 point economic. Okay, let's talk about hotels. I'm talking about so over here, cap rate for apartment multifamily, the median loss. Okay, let's check out this one, see what this one says. Okay, cool. So luxury, it's not luxury, but it looks like the average of it, it is that six mark. So we're right there on the average. I'm not buying no average though. Again, I'm playing it. I need to buy something that I can definitely get away with. So my usually when I look at properties that are in terms of like rental, honestly, 10% or higher. It may seem greedy, but it's just the safest way to go because the way cap rate works is the lower the cap rate, it's going to be higher risk, and then the price of the property is going to be significantly higher. If the cap rate goes up, then now the investment is safer and the property's price is going to drop from there. So this property it doesn't even break it doesn't even pass the 1% rule where I can get 22 I should be getting $2,500 on month income. So $250 times 1% is going to be $2,500 in gross income for the month. I'm only able to bring $2,200. uh Zumper told me 24, and then Zillow rent estimate telling me the most I can get is $2,300. But again, that's probably gonna be with like updates needed to be done on the property. And that's not the case for this subject property. So then now if I go through the rest of the analysis, is my cap rate is where the average is, but it's not even cash flowing me anything. So then now I have to do either two things. Either I'm gonna bring the price of the property down, or I have to rent the rent on the property. I'm already maxed out on the rent, so the only other option left is bringing down the price. So again, it's going back to that 10% on the cap rate, because at a higher cap rate, it's going to be a lower price. Then from here is the calculator already does it for me, where the 10% cap rate is $158,000 for this property. So now let me place that number on the asking price. If I'm able to get it, it's almost $100,000 a discount from here. But let's check it out. Even if I do $160,000, that's perfectly fine. Let's do an even number. $160,000, 20% down, 8% interest rate, 4% closing costs. My investment almost cutting half. From there, about 40%. My rent's gonna still stay the same, $1,100 per unit. Expenses are gonna still stay the same because it goes based on the rent. Now my cap rate went up to 9.9 because again I went a little bit higher. And then now my property is cash flowing. So now I get that positive cash flow. Good. My net income is $15,000 every almost $16,000. My debt service dropped because again the price of the property dropped, so my mortgage or AKA debt service dropped. So then now the $15,000 minus $11,000, that's what is brings me the cash flow on the property. So now I have 11.9% cash on cash return. Uh, and again, that's just going based on the price change. Of course, I'm gonna be battling with the seller on that. And so even the lowest I'll even take is $176,000, or the most I'll purchase the property will be $176,000 for it. And let's see, that's gonna get me 9% cap, still cash flowing. But again, I just have to play it safe because the way whenever you're looking at investments that are rental properties, multifamily, you always want to buy it at a high cap rate, and whenever you want to get rid of it, you just want to make sure that it's like in great condition. The rent is positive. The rent is positive. The expenses are very low and minimal as well too. So that way the property is cash flowing. Whenever you want to sell it, you want to sell it at a high price. And this is what's happening in this situation over here, where the seller's trying to definitely bought it. We can check on the history as well too. When was the last purchase on this property? Last purchase was July. It was bought for 112. Uh, yeah, it was bought for $112,000 back in 2022. So 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, because it wasn't until July where it actually did sell. And then look, even this seller got a great deal out of it because it was listed for 140 and they negotiated up to $112,000. So a $37,000 difference. I mean a $27,000 difference, but that's just part of the game, guys. It's always about negotiating because back then it was being rented out for 750 and then 656, and that's what I thought it was going to be renting it out for, maybe like $900 because the rent estimate was 18. So I was like, oh man, only $900. So that's the only thing. If these are the same tenants from that time, let's play with those numbers. The property was 139, 750 and 656. Let's break it down. So 139, how much? 139, 900. 139, 900. 2022, the rates were kind of high at the time as well too. Actually, no, they were still low. 2022, man, I don't know what the rates were at that time. Uh, let's see. Are we able to find out what if they have a mortgage still? I'm just doing like an extensive thing. I don't really have to be doing this right now, but I just again I want to see what the cap rate is that the seller has on this subject property, if I'm able to find it. Sacramento. Oh, come on. Iowa, Illinois, Colorado. Why? Let me check out the APN number. Where's the APN? APN. APN. Huh? This is the APN number? All right, let's check it out. Here we go. Bam. Mortgage. 2022. What kind of rate? It doesn't give me the rate. Estimated loan amount 89. And it doesn't give me the rate on the mortgage. Here, let's put it in. What is it? What is it? Interest rate. I can't spell it. I can't spell interest rate. Interest interest rate calculator. Let me see. Let me see if I'm able to find it on here. Where's all that information? So 89, 600, 5 year estimated loan balance, 87. All right, cool. 86. I don't know what the down payment was. Uh, what was that? $112,000. They probably did like 20%, maybe. Let's see. It'll be faster here. So $112,000 and original loan amount 89,600 divided by 112. So they did do 20%. Awesome. Okay, cool. 20% on this was 22,400. All right, let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. Yeah. Let's see if we're able to get it. 112. Wait, what? No, not 1 million. Come on, come on. Initial contribution. No. What are you talking about? Inflation rate? I don't care about inflation rate. I'm trying to find interest interest rate finder calculator. Simple interest calculate currency balance secondary initial balance 100 oh, 80 initial balance savings rate loan interest rate. All right, cool. Loan amount 89,600. 89,600. Let's close that. Secondary figure, no. Time 60 months. Setup fees. What secondary figure? Monthly payment? Oh, monthly payment is 538. So 538. And my interest rate, I'm trying to get the interest rate percent. What do you, I don't care about this. Oh my God. What's my interest rate on this? I wish I could do it on top of my head. I can't do these effective. Well, regardless, whatever that rate is, here, actually, I just, I want to figure out what that rate is. I'm like really, uh, here, let me put it over here. 89, $112,000. I'm gonna put over here. They did 20%. Rate, I'm gonna go with 6.5. 566. Almost. Oh, okay. 6.2. Uh-huh. Yep. So they gotta I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go with the 6.2 interest rate. And then I'm gonna play with the numbers over here. One bit. I'm just doing one because it was being rented out at the time for how much? 656 and 750. 656 and 750. 656 and 750. I'm gonna leave my expenses at the 40% rule, but the asking price was 139,900. And all right, cool. So 1406 rent expenses. So this person bought it at a 7.24 interest rate. That was based on the cap at the 139 asking price. But again, oh yeah, here it is. There's my answer. There's my answer. So this, the investor bought it at a 9% cap rate. So bought it at a 9% I'm sorry that took a long time, but I was just trying to find out what the interest rate is for like this specific loan based on like on the, based on the original loan amount, the time frame, and the monthly payment. So I need to find out how much the interest percent rate actually is for this property. But we ended up finding it, and based on the numbers on how much it was being rented out in the past and how much it was being sold for, again, the investor got it from a 7.24% down to like a 9%, up to like a 9%. So again, he negotiated on like on the price, and he was able to get 2 points higher like on the cap rate. So same thing with this. I don't expect for me to get away on the new asking price of $250,000, but again, the property has to be bringing a good amount of a great amount of cash flow into it. Because again, buying it where it is, if we go back to like the other numbers, our numbers were $250,000. Now it's gonna be at a higher interest rate. That's the only thing that's gonna suck about it. But we're able to rent it out for at the most $1,100. But again, it's not really gonna be working at that, buying at that 6.34%. So now he's selling it at a 3-point difference. So I have to do the same thing where I have to buy it at at a 2% higher cap rate. But the most I'll definitely want to go is $176,000 on it. The reason why is because so far it's still early. It's only been on the market for 34 days. But I'm looking at the investment overall, and I don't see. They start crazy high too. I don't know what this person is thinking about, but starting at 275, then 260. And you can see this was a matter of days. How earlier I was mentioning where I keep an eye on the what happened with the property overall. This is the things that I like to look at as well too. The price history, seeing if it's been listed, how long it's been listed for, seeing if there's any price changes, and also if there's been the property has been on a contract as well too. And I was mentioning how if the price has been like there's been price drops, that's really great. Usually happens in 2 weeks. This happened in 5 days. Within 5 days there was a price change, and within 10 days after that there's another price change. And then for some reason it got put back again to that 275. So it's at that 250. It's January 26th. There should be another price change already on itself. So this is one of those properties where I have to look into it. On playing like the patience game. But yeah, this is a property that I wouldn't go anything beyond $176,000. This person bought it 2 years ago for 112. So definitely a 64 $1,000 profit on it. It's for the 2 years. That's perfectly fine for that type of investment. 64,000 divided by 112. That's a 57% ROI um return on this investment. So they got half of their money back. And so that's more than perfectly enough for this type of investment for this investor. So and again, I can play the waiting game, and also the property needs updates as well too. It's not like in great condition where the home is getting ready to take care of. There's kids, I completely understand. So there's tenants in play, and you have to treat them as such. But at the same time, it does need it might need quite a few things because there's not a lot of information on the rest, like on the property, but that's the entire game. So when looking at our rentals, it's strictly just down to the numbers, where you might get lucky and find out the history of it on how much it was bought for and how much it was rented for in the past and how much the potential is happening right now. But hey, I know how much this person is making in terms of like their ROI and how much they're trying to get out of it on their cap rate. So they got it at 9. They got it at 9. They try to get down to like 6. And I'm not trying to take that risk at 6. All right, play it safe and then go at 9 back again as well too, which it brings him some money. So they end up making something out of it. So now it's about finding either they will do a price drop, or I'll just play the waiting game and seeing if the property gets delisted or there's a contract, and then it gets under contract, and something about that buyer, they don't like the property and it gets relisted again, then there's going to be more motivation on doing another price drop. And that's where you will want to come in and try to snatch it up. Hey, I'm coming back again. I'm still interested on this, but again, I'm still firm on that $176,000 price point. And so that's just how it has to be done in terms of like the multifamily. Full thorough due diligence as well too. And not only that, but also check out like the neighborhood, because I mean there's kids on this property, so that tells me that it could definitely be a great safe neighborhood. But also look for other properties as well too. So do virtual driving for dollars, see if you're able to find any other properties or land that might be of interest in the area, and then seeing if there's improvement homes. So we have this one right over here, where again the neighborhood is really great, and then it looks like there's kids over here as well too. There's that hot pink a hot car in hot wheel on the driveway or on the grass. Somebody needs to check on that. And then there's some land over here. So again, this could be a land opportunity, a land to wholesale as well too. So that's virtual wholesaling for you as well too. Just doing it through Street Viewer, or you can find other opportunities. So that's the entire process of analyzing both a wholesale fix and flip and a wholesale rental property. But I'm gonna leave it open in 2022 September. Thank you, thank you. I know, but we have to go based on what kind of rate the seller was able to get around this time, which again we ended up finding it was close to that 6.2% because based on how much they took out, based on the time frame and also based on like the monthly payment, that's what I was trying to look for. But thank you, Babak, I appreciate it. If there's any questions, definitely let me know. This is where I'll leave it open for some Q&A. Any questions or anything that you want me to retouch up again before I let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your evening, let me know. But yeah, it's open for some Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourselves. Let me take this off. You are able to unmute yourself, or you can drop your questions in the chat.
Elton, this is Tahir. Thank you. It's excellent work. I appreciate good information. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Wonderful. Why the price of prop wire is different than Zillow?
All the different platforms are gonna have different price ranges. It all depends like on the data that they have. So a lot of investors don't have access to the MLS. I'm not an agent, so I don't have access to the MLS either. So it's using all the different platforms. There's other ones as well too. There could be LoopNet, there's could be Batchleads, there's going to be like all these platforms that are going to give you a different range of information because wherever it is that they collect their data from, it's they either paying for it and then the data is going to be a little bit more outdated. So it's just going to be a price it's going to be a price fluctuation because of the data that they have available. So all the platforms are going to have different numbers across the board. So that's the only reason that it could be very different. So that's why it's great to do a thorough due diligence to see what's actually happening like in the area and get an understanding from there to see what the potentials are and what's actually happening live at the moment, and then also checking back like on the history as well too.
Did that calculator is part of your website that you showed, or you were adjusting the cap rate and telling the price?
Yeah, so when you adjust the cap rate, it's going to adjust like the price for you automatically once you're able to fill in like all the information, because the cap rate is going to go based on where the current how much the current property is listed for, or if there's no asking price. Again, we use those average prices so we can average them out to see what the potential how much potentially the property can sell for without an agent. And then from there, the cap rate is going to be based on that number that we are able to input into the calculator to give out what the potential will be for it based on the cap rate.
So if we buy based on cap rate 10%, means that we are buying like a wholesale person. Is that right?
No, usually 10% is what I usually recommend. With usually when you're finding with wholesalers, it's going to be like a little bit less from it, depending on how much they're wholesaling it for. Usually for a lot of wholesalers do it very differently. Some of them like to go based on the ARV on the property. Some of them like to go so an example would be if the property is selling for $150,000, they want to get like between 5 to like 8, maybe 10% out of it, out of the deal. So that will be roughly what is that, a $15,000 wholesale fee, maybe less, depending on it, because uh that's gonna affect the cap rate on the investment as well too. So if looking at 10% and they want a $15,000 wholesale fee, that's something else that you have to consider into like the expense. And so it's just
reduce the cap rate.
Yeah, so the cap rate it will reduce the cap rate just by a little bit. It wouldn't be significantly. It's just, and again, that's why I recommend doing a minimum 10% on the cap rate, because you always want to get it even higher than that of the 10%. So that way, whenever you bring it to like an investor, if they see 10%, maybe even like 9%, they'll definitely want to take that as much as possible. just because it's significantly better than going down to like what the average, as an example that we're looking today, the average on the area is close to like 6%. So getting a 9.5%, maybe 9% cap rate, that was definitely significantly from there. And so it's all about playing with the numbers like a little bit. So usually the cap rate, the price that it gives me like on the cap rate, that's like my highest offer. That's like that shouldn't be like the first offer off the bat. So that's where you kind of have to work a little bit higher and work towards that number from there. So that's what a lot of wholesalers do is they work towards their max allowable offer. They're always going to be starting low and then just slowly increase from there.
So I found that by formula, cap rate 7.8% gives us 1% rule.
I'm sorry, one more time. What do you mean?
So 1% rule is saying that the rent should be the 1% of
of the rent. Oh, yeah.
If you take 35% as a expense, tax, insurance, and those things, you will end up with cap rate 7.8%.
Oh,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
you make 10%, you are doing better than 1%. And that's margin of safety because you go there, you find something that needs to spend more and more, and that helps you to save. So 10% is you have a good rule.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, that's why I always recommend. That's why when I do these, I always tell everybody my standard rule is if you're not getting at 10%, then just walk away from like that deal because it doesn't make sense. And then that's the thing. A lot of the information has to be confirmed because with the example that we saw today, it showed that the property is being under rented. And then there's been long-term tenants on the property, as we saw on the walls from the kids. But additionally too is collecting the information on how much is actually being rented out and then checking out what's actually happening like in the area for those rentals, if they can be are they going to be closer to what we found what we are estimating with like 1100, maybe pushing it to like 1200, or are they going to be closer to like the $900 dollar price point? But at the same time we have to find out how much the tenants are paying at the moment because it did mention that the tenants were under contract into like July and one of them into like October as well too. So that's gonna like fluctuate the price. But honestly, that's why I like to play the patience game on some of the rentals because there hasn't been a price drop on the property already, and they started the example we saw today. They started crazy high. They wanted $275,000. So buying it at that price at that point, they were like overpricing it. So I can imagine the cap rate at that time when they first started listing the property, it was close to like 4%. So
Yeah.
as they started making the adjustment of price, that's when the cap rate slowly came up, and they saw they probably did the due diligence and found out what the average is. So they were able to like bring it down from there. But it shows how the investor and how the agent were doing it, where they were trying to be a little bit greedy and try to get it overpriced. But then it's just the market is letting them know like there's probably no activity, there's barely a few offers, or the offers that are coming in are coming way too low. So it's either the seller is gonna break and they're gonna be doing like a major doing another price reduction, or they're not gonna be getting a lot of activity for the next coming months that eventually the property has to be sold less than $190,000 or even less than that, hopefully. Because again, it's just not the market is not reacting how they want it to be.
Yeah, in all of these, you see the challenging part finding the rent price.
Yeah, yeah.
The jumper is good, but it's still you need to challenges but you found the workaround to
Oh yeah,
estimate.
there's different ways.
The rent is the most challenging part.
Yeah, I try to use like the simple forms, simple platforms for a lot of people to understand. Because again, I have other resources where I can find like the rent and figure out like the average. But sometimes it's even just calling like a random agent to see if they happen to know like the area very well, if they live there for like 10, 20, 30 years, and like they're able to give me very accurate information of how much the properties can rent for. Of course, it's always just projections. There's always going to be a pro forma on the rents. But at the end of the day, it's what we're able to get out of it. And also if we have to work with the tenants, or if the tenants are willing to work with us, or if we have to let the tenants go and then figure out if we're able to bring up the rents from there. So there's a lot of key factors, but the information is never going to be very accurate, but it's always to use different platforms. So that way you're able to find out which side is it the closest to, like, that you're able to get to. And then sometimes if there's not a lot of information and the information is inclining towards like a one side of things, then that's where you're able to negotiate like on the price, because you're not seeing what somebody told you, like an agent or anybody else, a broker or whoever it is, that tells you what the markets are being rented out for, what the potential will be for it. And so it's always best just to get like a lower number, because you're playing it very, very safe on the rent from there too.
Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions?
No, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Of
Wonderful.
course. Well, my
Thanks.
pleasure, my pleasure. So yeah, so this is again, this is always being recorded. So that way, anybody who else wants to watch it, you can always go back to it. It is this is from the meetup, so I always post on the comments the recording, so it will be available in the next couple of hours. And again, the next event will be on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you definitely want to join at that time, by all means, definitely come in. Again, we always like to do different areas. We don't like to specifically niche down to one specific area, because I know a lot of viewers are coming from all over the US. And if you happen to have an address in the future, by all means, drop it in the chat, and we'll see what we're able to get out of it. But thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next meetup on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. You have a blessed
Have a
night
nice, have a
and take
nice
care.
evening. Take care. Bye.
Bye.